of the Middle Creek Coaches Show live from Ruckus Pizza. This is the Sports Block. I'm Ryan Grover, accompanied by Coach Castellano, the head coach. And also, for this first segment, we have Coach Andre Jacobs of the D-line. Welcome, welcome. It's a little different tonight. We're going to have a little rotating of chairs. Coach is going to stay on with me for the duration of the night, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah, I want to spend more time with you. So I'm
Always.
glad Coach Jacobs is here to help out tonight. He's really kind of the brains and the good looks behind the whole operation.
Well, Coach, we'll go ahead and go ahead and get into Friday. Tough win by the Mustangs.
We were excited to get the win. We played hard, but we didn't play great by any stretch of the imagination. The guys will tell you that themselves as well. Just didn't execute. Mm-hmm. But I do believe we wanted it more than anybody else on the field.
Yeah.
The highlights that we have here: the first play. It's on. Just watch the corner on the top. That is Jonathan Spencer. We call him Juby. He makes a phenomenal play on an interception. You kind of watch the guy all the way in the top left. As you see him, ball's thrown, and he makes a one-handed interception in the end zone. That was an opportunity. You can see our excitement on the sideline. It's really, I apologize for using a small screen up here, but when you watch it from the other angle, you can see him catch it directly under the goalpost, and it's a heck of an athletic play. It was a huge play in the game early to kind of get momentum back in our favor. The next play, this guy had a decent game for us. It's Elijah Perry. It's an 80-yard touchdown run on a 2nd and 10 right here. Just keep watching, make people miss, and then he outruns the entire defense. We're really proud of him. We'll look forward to talking to him in a little bit as well. But the thing I really enjoyed is watching the excitement on the sideline, in the crowd, as you kind of watch this play happen. He makes these guys miss, and people are working to make a play. You can tell it means something to guys on that sideline, and the bigger angle, all the people in the crowd. And that was a heck of a run by Elijah and a great job by his teammates. The third play here we're going to watch, you can see the crowd all excited. Cheerleaders running down. We're glad to have them here as well. But it was a lot. Here, Michael Rubino has an onside kick. We onside kicked 3 times. This was the one that he had that was bad, but it's the only one we recovered. We actually recovered all 3, but it's the only one that counted. And you can kind of see it here, kicking it down to the bottom of the screen. And you'll watch our guys on the bottom. I believe Elijah Herring comes up with it and does a great job fighting back for the ball. Ricochets off a guy. We turn around and you see our guys go after it and do a great job recovering it. And you can watch the guys fight for it from the other angle as well. But, Michael Rubino's a weapon for us, and he obviously was our special teams player of the game this week and did a heck of a job helping us win by his special teams.
And you recovered 3 onside kicks, and a game this close. How big was that for you guys?
Well, we recovered 3, only 1 counted. We touched the other 2, actually literally 2 to 3 inches before it hit 10 yards. So if we had those other 2, we think it would help us a heck of a lot more. But that's obviously a weapon that we take advantage of. This is a kickoff return. Jonathan Spencer, a.k.a. Juby. Again, ball's kicked. Once he catches it here, you can kind of see where the hole is. We teach him to hit right there and to bounce outside. He actually cut across the field or he would have scored. But it was a great play for us to change to field possession and give our offense an opportunity to go score quickly. You can see the other angle here, and as he catches it back here in the left, you can kind of see where the hole breaks or the crease breaks where we want to hit it, and where his teammates did a good job making sure it was blocked well. There's the crease right there, and now we're supposed to bend it outside. Nothing personal, Rubino, but we think we can make a kicker miss, so we're hoping to run at the kicker and then cut outside away from everybody. This is Elijah Perry again, making guys miss. Great blocking on the outside. Connor, Nathan, and Terry with great blocks. The wide receivers to the left do a great job as well. Elijah makes a guy miss, accelerates, puts his foot in the ground, and obviously outruns the defense. Again, you see our excitement. You see some of the guys back here on offense. They have pure excitement to make a big play. Jonathan Spencer again makes a PBU. Not great coverage, but he runs through the guy there after he realizes he can't make a play on the football. That's John's first varsity game he's ever played, and he's been on 3 highlights so far. So we think if he keeps staying coachable, he'll have an opportunity to be a really good football player. And then you can see, obviously, the contact. Luke almost picks it off there at the end. And this is the big run at the end of the game when it's tied. Elijah Perry has a great run that J. Mike Blake asked me afterwards, we try to run at the clock for a tie. I said, no, we told Elijah you have one more big run in you. And he makes a bunch of guys miss, and next thing you know, it's a huge run to get us in field position to win the game. And right there, we liked him to score, but we knew at that opportunity or that moment we had a great chance to win the football game. And you can see him again here. You can see him kind of come out of it, make a guy miss. If I counted early, I think he made 8 people miss on this play. Guys are falling over to haven't laid a finger on him. Phenomenal game by him. This is running to 228 yards at that point. That's by far the most production anybody in the field had. And this is the last play. I wish everybody could see this. Bottom right, our principal's there. This is Stewie Fine. He had over 100 yards as well in this game. He's played 3 varsity games against Garner, and all 3 he's had over 100 yards. And Stewie's a great kid. He's part of the choir. Does a phenomenal job in the classroom. But right here, he said when he heard Coach Bordeaux call this play, it was the exact same play that was called the last play last year. That he promised himself he was going to put in his left arm. He was going to score, and the ball would not be fumbled. And you can see here, 8 jumps off in the neutral zone there, and we should have had a penalty for that. You can see it on film. He's offsides. But either way, they don't call the penalty. Hand the ball off to Stewie. Great block right there by Bobby. And then he made sure he got in, and obviously all we had to do at that point was have a great kickoff and stop him a couple plays on defense. But obviously, that was an exciting moment for everybody. If you watch Stewie run off the field here, he actually stumbles, falls, and does a backflip as he's going off the field. So I can tell you he wasn't the only one excited. But there's a lot of highlights this week. Coach Wilkes picked him out, but I think it was worth it.
Well, Coach, you had a tough first game, tied going into the fourth quarter. A lot of different moments throughout the game, a lot of different highlights. How do you think your team responded to ultimately get this win?
Well, we expect to win every week. We want to compete and try to do the best we can. The responding now is that one's done. Can we respond again tomorrow at practice? We didn't have a great practice today by any stretch of the imagination. Our tempo wasn't very good. Execution wasn't very good. We can't focus on the last one. We just got to worry about the next one.
And Coach Jacobs, from a defensive perspective, what do you think you guys did, to come out on top and shut them down ultimately in the end?
Well, one thing we got to do for sure is we got to tackle better than what we did last week. We got to make the plays that we're supposed to make. Last week we left a couple sacks on the field. We could have got the ball back for our offense in better field position, but we didn't. So going forward, I think that we should, really try.
He's even coaching up here.
Going forward, I think we should really make the plays that we're supposed to make and do what we're coached to do, and we'll be perfectly fine.
Well, Coach, you had mentioned over 300 yards just from the highlights alone on the ground. Was that something that you wanted to accomplish coming into this game?
We had, I think, over 350, Coach Bordeaux, if that's correct, through 3 guys actually carrying the football. No, we didn't go in saying we're going to run for 350 yards. Coach Bordeaux and the offensive staff do a great job of figuring out through the game what has the best chance to work. And obviously that was working well for us with the offensive line, with the running backs. But, Coach Bordeaux's got to call the game, and he did a fabulous job doing it and evolving throughout the game.
And you guys obviously kind of fell into a little bit of a hole at the beginning of last season. What's the difference this season to start off with a win?
The guys executed a little better than they did. We talk about what we talk about behind closed doors. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you just go out there and compete that week and compete every day and then see what happens.
Well, Coach, you're obviously not going anywhere. When we come back, we will bring on one of your other coaches to talk to him. Don't go anywhere, guys. You're watching, the Middle Creek Coaches Show live from Ruckus Pizza. This is the Sports Block. We'll be right back.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone. You're watching the Sports Blog. He one block, and he just shrugs them off, And he makes another two! And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two! And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
Welcome back, guys. You are watching the Middle Creek Coaches Show. We are joined now by special teams coach Jason Wilkes. How are you doing tonight, Coach?
Good. How are you?
Good. So we watched a few highlights already. Us up here. Looking at it from a special teams perspective, obviously, how big was field position throughout this game?
It was really big. We did a great job with our punt game. They weren't able to get any returns off. Rubino did a great job keeping it away from their returner, doing a good job with our directional punts and placing the ball where we needed to for the most part the entire night.
Good. And obviously last year, just playing off of last year, you had a block record in place. You obviously trying to gun for that.
Yes.
Is there any benchmarks that you're gunning for this year?
We want to break that record for block kicks still. I know we didn't get any last week, but that's still our goal every week going into games. We want to block at least 2 kicks a game throughout the year, so that's something we strive for. And we also want to score at least twice on special teams each week.
Coach, I got a different question for you. What's the main difference between high school and college football for you?
One of the main differences is just the time you get with your players. With college ball, you get position meetings every day, that sort of thing, whereas with high school, it's a lot more compressed at times, so we have to take really advantage of every chance we get with our players. And that's a huge difference I see. But at the end of the day, coaching's coaching, football's football, and we approach it the same way. Still football.
And I know we've spoke about this a couple times, but gunning for these recoveries and these block kicks. What are the things that you in that shorter time try to get across to these players?
We just try to create competition. Every week we update the depth charts. Mondays it's open competition to get on special teams, and those guys are really bought in. They want to block kicks. They want to score. They want to help the team win in that phase. We're really aggressive with our special teams. We're really aggressive with all phases, offense, defense, and special teams here at Middle Creek. We want to be on the offensive, whatever team's out there.
Well, Coach, good luck trying to get that record once again this year. We'll obviously talk to you again.
All right, sounds good.
Once again, guys, you are watching the Middle Creek Coaches Show, broadcasting live from Ruckus Pizza. This is the Sports Block. We'll be right back.
The Ruckus Challenge. 24 inches of fresh cheese, sauce, and any toppings you want. You have 1 hour, just you and the pizza. Think you can do it? Come out to Ruckus every Tuesday and find out.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two! And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two! And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two! is up. That's an absolute thrill into the back of the end zone.
Welcome back to the Middle Creek Coaches Show. This time we are joined by running back Elijah Perry. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing excellent. How are you doing?
Good, good. So, me and your coach, we talked a little bit. How does it feel, first of all, before we get started, how does it feel to field some questions from Coach?
Well, I mean, it's excellent. It's a great feeling. It's a great feeling.
Well, we talked a little bit about the work you guys did on the ground on Friday night. Obviously, yourself having a big game. What were the things that you guys were able to do on offense, whether it was the running backs or the offensive line to, get that done?
It was definitely executing the plays and the blocks. We didn't have a lot of perfect plays, but the plays that we did have, we executed them, and that's what caused us to have huge drives, and it was definitely a team effort.
Elijah, I got a couple questions for you. First off, what are your plans next year?
Well, definitely play in the college level, have a good time doing that.
What do you want to study?
I want to study psychology, actually.
What do you want to do with psychology?
Take it to another level, take it to business, mentor, stuff like that.
Okay. Couple of questions I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. Who's your favorite coach on staff?
Coach King. There we go.
Ooh, that
Where did
wasn't
go?
smart.
That wasn't
Who's
a
your
smart
favorite
move.
teacher at Middle Creek?
Oh, my favorite teacher. That's a tough one. I'd have to say Mr. Griffin. He's not just a teacher. He's also a person that interacts with his students, knows how to have a good time.
Okay. Who's the sloppiest teammate in the locker room?
Ooh.
We're all pretty sloppy. I can't.
That's a good.
So you're all going to stay with Coach Jacobs tomorrow, or you're going to throw somebody under the bus?
Yeah, team effort.
Okay, good answer. Good answer. Who's the most intense coach on your coaching staff?
Intense coach. Is this intense? Can you elaborate on that question a little bit?
We're not playing a game show. It's your answer. I'll give you a second to come up with the answer for that. But in all honesty, what is it like playing with Stewie when you have two senior running backs and you guys are competing with one another, pushing one another, yet are both celebrating each other's positive results?
Between me and Stu, it's not really a competition. It's more of a friendship, and we're both trying to help each other out. Stu comes to me. He asks me questions about how to execute a play as best he can, and I ask Stu, what play was it that you got this run, and how are the blocks looking? And it's definitely it's not just competition. It's a teammate interaction type of thing. Okay.
How do you feel about your team going forward this week?
This week, definitely we have to work on executing. Definitely work on continue to get better and keep our mind at a level where we're not satisfied because we're still underrated. And I feel like we have to put a name out for ourselves. So that's definitely something that we need to work on.
What are you guys currently rated?
Rated, I'm not sure, but it's not the top.
Good answer. I have no idea either. You're not supposed to know. You have any questions?
Well, Elijah, you get that offensive line and that offensive unit as a whole got a lot of good things done in week one. How do you keep that momentum going into week two and ultimately, through the season?
Like I said, execution is definitely. It's not just that we're a team; we're a family. So the O-line, for example, they don't just block for me; they protect for me. Mm-hmm. And so when you have that connection, it's just like you can have those big drives because if you know that you can trust your teammates, it's something that can make an ultimate win.
Good.
Elijah, I have one last question for you. Last year against Holly Springs, you broke your wrist, and the two games prior to that were probably the two best games you'd had to that point, really starting to develop and come into your own. What was it like to get hurt, not be able to play the rest of the season, face an off season after surgery? What was that like to overcome that and find that confidence again?
It was definitely a challenge. The first few weeks that I injured my wrist, it was a phase of just I wanted to go back, but I couldn't go back, and just knowing that it was kind of hard. But I soon realized that I can't let this be a setback. I want it to be a comeback, and so I prepared myself to endure not just coming back, but coming back better. And that mindset really took a toll to me, and it really made me believe that if I can get past this injury, I could definitely go farther.
Well, Elijah, I appreciate your time and appreciate your time getting grilled by Coach over here. If you had to give Coach a superlative, what would it be? And if you had to describe him in one word?
Be careful.
Coach C, I'd have to say, bold.
Bold. He's bold. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching the Middle Creek Coaches Show, broadcasting live from Ruckus Pizza. This is the Sports Block. We'll be right back.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This time we are joined by Tiffany Booker, the head cheerleading coach. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, first things first, if you just, obviously we interviewed you last year. If you could just take us from that point through the year and to this point now, and how did cheerleading end up?
Well, cheer was great. First off, since we have Coach here, we want to say thanks for a great season last year. He took us way into November, and that was a lot of fun. I know the girls had a great time cheering for playoffs. Mm-hmm. We competed in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association competition. We didn't do as well as we would have liked, but we still placed fourth. We did hold our conference and the Wake County title, and we were able to win a state title in the end of the season.
That's awesome.
Did well again.
Well, obviously, it's almost this kind of the same frame of questions this year. You guys are expected to do well. How do you keep that going, year in and year out?
Practice is intense. We practice 2 days a week to try to give the girls a nice balance of life so they can still work and have some fun in there. But we keep practice pretty intense. They work hard from the moment we get there until they're ready to pack up the mats and go.
Okay. And thank you guys for the support. You guys do a great job, and it's neat watching the film, and whenever we have a big play, you see the cheerleaders running down the sideline celebrating too. So we do appreciate that, obviously, as a football program. Two things I wanted to ask, and the first was I wanted to know about your cheer clinic.
Our annual cheer clinic is coming up on September 20th. It's a Saturday. We invite community members, girls, to come in, and they get to work with our cheerleaders for the day. They make banners, they learn dances and cheers, play some games, have lunch, and then the following week they actually get to come out and be Mustang cheerleaders for the first quarter of the game. So that's a great thing that we do. We have a lot of returning girls. Last year we had about 75, so we're hoping to maybe hit 100 this year.
Wow, that'd be great.
It's coming up on September 20th.
September 20th, great. Look forward to seeing that and having them out there with us. The other question I had, too, was more of a personal question. When we first met you, you were a teacher. You were in a process of obviously dating somebody who you eventually married, and now obviously have a family. What's it like having a family and being a full-time coach?
It's definitely finding a balance, but it's a lot of fun. I have a great group of girls and parents. I've got, 30 babysitters built right in. So that's perfect, except for they're not available on game days.
point.
But it's been really nice actually to kind of bring it full circle and have the whole family involved, and then have the great cheer families to give me some good advice too.
The success has been pretty constant, but obviously every team's different. If you had to describe this team in a few little tidbits, what would it be for this year?
This team, this is my 5th year here, so this group of seniors especially, they're fun. They're a whole lot of fun. Sometimes a little too much fun, but you can kind of see they're a little crazy back there already. But they're a lot of fun, so it's really been a nice balance. They know when to kind of turn it on, but they're a good time.
Well, Coach, we have Taylor coming on next. Can you go ahead and kind of intro her and kind of tell us a little bit about her before she comes on?
Taylor is one of my 2 4-year seniors that have been on the varsity team. So she's been there through ups and downs. She's been there with our first big loss for the program, and she's been there to win national titles and state titles. She's also one of our #1 students. One of our big things is we try to keep a high percentage of academic all-conference cheerleaders, so she rises to that occasion as well. So she's somebody I'm very, very proud of. So.
Okay. Well, Coach, always a pleasure. I hope you guys have the same amount of success, more this year. All right?
We hope so. Thank you.
Once again, guys, you are watching the Middle Creek Coaches Show, broadcasting live from Ruckus Pizza. This is the Sports Block. We'll be right back. Thank you.
Thank you.
He one block,
Oh!
and he just drugs them all, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just drugs them all, and he makes another 2. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Middle Creek Coaches Show. We are joined this time by senior cheerleader Taylor Druga. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, I am fantastic. So we're here to talk about cheerleading. How do you think you guys are looking this year? Obviously, your coach said that you've been here 4 years.
Yep. I think it's no different than any other year. I mean, we still expect to get as many titles as we normally do, and there's still talent like there is every year. So.
A lot of talent, a lot of expectations comes with a lot of pressure. How do you guys, tend to deal with that, or do you even think about that type of stuff?
I mean, we do think of the pressure, but we try to release it. Like a lot of us have jobs or other sports that we deal with too, so we just try to forget about all of that.
Okay, Coach.
Taylor, what are you going to do next year after you get done with high school?
I would like to go to Chapel Hill.
And what do you want to major in?
Hopefully business, I'm thinking.
What would you like to do with that?
I don't know. It's just like my dad's in business and hopefully in marketing and all that fun stuff. I like dealing with people, so I think business is a route for me.
I had another question on top of that, because life is about making good decisions, and obviously you've done that academically, you've done that athletically, being part of a great program. Do you have a boyfriend?
I do have a boyfriend.
Does he play on the football team?
He does.
So obviously he's like one of the manly positions, right? Like a OL or a DL. Tell us about him.
He's the kicker, yeah.
Whoa, he's a what?
Kicker and punter.
He's a kicker and a punter.
Yes.
Is he here today to support you?
He is. He's right over there, yeah.
Okay. What did you think of his performance last week?
I thought it was very good. I mean, he always performs well, in my opinion anyway.
So when he's getting yelled at for doing it wrong, you still are there to support him?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I just wanted to ask that question real quick.
Coach, we've spent a lot of time talking about special teams, and you really want your whole unit to play well, right?
We do. We try to overcome our coaching a lot of times, the Middle Creek's football program, and we try to overcome on special teams our kicker with the performance of the other 10 men on the field.
Well, back to Taylor. Taylor, so obviously, walk us through kind of where you're at in y'all's season and what's coming up, next steps.
Right now, we are still going over some of like the cheers and chants for football season, and we're getting ready to have choreography camp, and that is like a 3-day intense all-day camp, and that's about 2 weeks from now.
And you haven't had that camp yet, but how is the chemistry among the girls? Is it kind of consistent? Do you have a lot of changeover? What is it like?
The chemistry is really good because we do have a lot of seniors still. There's about 7 of us, but there are a couple freshmen and a couple newcomers on to Varsity. But we all seem to gel well, and that's exactly what this time is for, before choreography.
Awesome. Well, Taylor, we wish you good luck. Don't listen to him. He always is on coach mode. So we appreciate your time, and good luck in the rest of the season.
Thank you.
You good? Once again, guys, you are watching the Middle Creek Coaches Show live from Ruckus Pizza. This is the Sports Block. We'll be right back.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching.
To the Middle Creek Coaches Show. We are joined now by Ryan Reavis, the general manager here at Ruckus Pizza. Obviously, first of all, thank you for letting us host here on a weekly basis. And how did all this kind of come about? It's a big kind of production now on Tuesday nights, but where did this thing come from?
Well, believe it or not, it started off as a casual email, I believe, that came from Coach over here, and we kind of mulled over the idea and kind of thought about it, and then I think he shot us another email, and we finally got together and had a impromptu meeting over here and decided that it made perfect sense to go ahead with the program, and we started throwing ideas on I think it was just a piece of paper written down over one of the tables in there, and then that became the format for the coaches show. And from what I gather, it's pretty much the only one going on here in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And hopefully we're setting an example for other schools in North Carolina to follow.
Oh, yeah.
We appreciate everything you guys do for us, and it's been a phenomenal relationship in our end. But obviously, we're smart enough to know we're not the only organization or program that you're affiliated with. Please tell us about some of the other things that Ruckus does throughout the year for the community.
We're into a lot of different organizations in the community. One is, I'm sure you've all heard of West Raleigh Baseball. We're a big supporter of West Raleigh. Our food's over there. Logos on all the uniforms, and they just won the World Series, I believe it was 2 weekends ago, the Cal Ripken Series, and that was quite an honor for us. And we've done a couple other schools, and one's a lung cancer society charity event. We've done numerous golf tournaments, and it's almost too much to list. We just believe in helping the community and being a part of the community, because we started off as with a couple guys, Robert and Ryan, who went to NC State, and it started just as a little college bar, kind of a hole in the wall, I guess you'd say, and kind of grew it out. And I remember sitting there. That one has been there about 14 years, and we drew this one out on a piece of paper in front of Ruckus 1 over there and tried to figure out what to do with it. And sure enough, here it is today. This is our second version. Then we got the third one over in Morrisville. But but they're local guys and been in this community for forever, and big supporters. One of them, Ryan's wife's a teacher over at Yates Mill, it's just an honor to be able to help provide back to the community. So.
Well, we're going into our second year, so obviously we've been doing something right. How has it been working with Middle Creek Athletics, first of all, and obviously the sports block as well?
It's been fantastic. We adjust weekly to try to figure out or adjust to the crowds that do make it here. It's always a challenge because you plan for just enough, basically. And so far we've done fairly well. 1 week it might take a little bit longer, but for service, but we're generally adjusted up for the next week and ready to roll. That'll be a smoother transition. So it's a ever-changing, fluid dynamic that happens here. So.
Well, Ryan, obviously we can't thank you guys at Ruckus enough for the things you guys do for us, and hopefully we can continue that on. And Coach, you have something to add on?
Yeah, I've got to ask the most important question. We're here pretty often. What is the best meal here? What do you eat when you have to eat something?
When I'm eating something, believe it or not, you're going to laugh. I love the walnut gorgonzola salad with grilled chicken. That's a staple that we've sold a lot of. Our spicy chicken Alfredo is fantastic. And just today I had just a slice of pepperoni pizza because it's fantastic at the same time. And, something that separates us from other places is we do everything from scratch. There's only a couple things like a couple dressings that we don't do in-house, but everything else we're making from scratch in-house. So there is something I want to mention, and this is very important for why we're here today on Tuesday and every Tuesdays, is you have the flyers that are on your table, and you get, we donate back 15% of whatever your meal bill is, any drinks, any to-goes, everything. So be sure and fill out this flyer and give it to your server when you're ready to leave. And this gets put with your ticket, and then we donate that money back to the school. And that is you're already here, just fill it out.
Yep, and we've donated that money to Miracle League, Challenge League, Make-A-Wish, and other things too. But I wanted to take the opportunity to personally thank you, Ruckus, for everything you guys have done, school, community, and it's been a blessing for us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Guys, you are watching the Middle Creek the Middle Creek Coaches Show, broadcasting live from Ruckus Pizza. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
He one block, and he just shrugs them off, and he makes another two. And kick is up. That's an absolute drill into the back of the end zone.
You're watching the Sports Blog.
Welcome back to the Welcome back to the Middle Creek Coaches Show, broadcasting live from Ruckus Pizza. This is the Sports Block. Coach, it's down to our last segment. You have a tough non-conference game down in Fayetteville, I believe, down with E.E. Smith. You were able to get a home win against them last year. Can you kind of give us a little preview of the team that you're about to take on this Friday?
Yeah, it's first off, we're Middle Creek. I know you're a little hungry, big guy. You'll eat in a minute. Kind of lost focus there for a second, but it's Middle Creek High School.
What did I say?
I don't know what you said. You stuttered halfway through it, but we're Middle Creek High School. But back on point. No, they're a good football team. We watched them on film, obviously, all weekend. I spoke to their head coach last night, and we were talking about he said last year they came in feeling pretty confident, and we got a victory. And he said, well, our goal over a year period was to see how we match up with you the next year.
Mm-hmm.
We had a lot of things go well. I made fun of Michael Rubino earlier, but he's a talented football player and a very talented kicker, and that was a game that he had a great game in, and our special teams dominated. Offensively, we had a really, really good game also. I believe second quarter through third, we kind of just went, caught on fire and kept going. Defensively, we had spurts that were good. But this is a team that looks a lot better to me on film than they did the year before. So we're hoping athletic we can match up, and hopefully we can kind of catch up to the speed of what they're going to do.
From year to year, obviously, things change, players change. But what things kind of stay consistent from the year to year when you're lining up against the same team?
Every year you're going to tweak, you're going to adjust. Coach Trump and I were looking at our game plan last year to play this team, and we kind of looked at each other, and we had two calls. They were bull and bull me. They're Golden Bulls, so that was our calls. And we literally looked at each other, two geniuses who were, supposedly pretty good coaches, and we said, what in the world did that mean? So, we kind of looked on film and tried to figure it out. I'll be man enough to admit we couldn't remember, so we had to text Tom Hartshorn, who played last year, and kind of matched up what we saw on screen, and we realized, year to year, people are going to adjust. They're going to adapt to their personnel. You evolve usually as a coach, and that kind of leads you to maybe down a different road of what you do. So every year when you turn on the film, you don't look at last year's game. You look at what they've done this year and kind of where they're at with their personnel.
And, going to this next game, you did a lot of good things this last Friday that we've spoke about. But what are some of the things that you need to, work on, or you are working on this week to get ready for Friday?
We've just got to execute better. The old saying in coaching is the biggest improvement you're going to make the entire year is after your first game and your second game. Our first game is out of the way. We were in a situation where we thought we didn't execute very well. As I said earlier, we dropped a couple passes, dropped one in the end zone wide open, blew a coverage that led to 7 points, had a lot of penalties. A lot of them were, they were effort plays that we just didn't execute. We just got to execute better and trust our teammates, on special teams and defense to be where they're supposed to be. And on offense, trust the guy next to me is going to do his job and execute my job.
And after one game, just a quick little snapshot, where do you think this team is ultimately to where you want it to be?
Nowhere close because, we want to win the last game of the year. We want to be in the playoffs and win the last game of the year. Only one team in the state wins the last game of the year. So, we're nowhere near that. Right now we're a football team that hasn't done anything. We got by in a close win when we were up by 14, with a chance to go up by 21, made it a dogfight. Each team is different, and right now this team is nowhere close, but who knows where we're going to be tomorrow after practice. Who knows where they're going to be Friday after the game. So we'll see.
Well, Coach, I do appreciate your time tonight. After every break, going there and getting a couple of bites to eat, I do appreciate you coming up here and hosting this thing with me. Made it eventful, none to say the least.
I appreciate you giving me 2-minute notice that I was going to be hosting it with you tonight and be getting to do this. I do appreciate being here. Our coaches do as well. Our families around the areas watch it as well. So we enjoy what you guys do. An opportunity to be up here with you. Trust me, it was worth it, big guy.
If anything, I just made you a more well-rounded person.
You had to throw a weight joke in about yourself? Well played.
Well, Coach, good luck this Friday. And, guys, catch us next Tuesday. This was the Sports Block, broadcasting live from Ruckus Pizza in Cary. We'll see you next time.